I also want to ask you about protein because I feel like protein has been like the thing lately, kind of the sexy diet thing. I don't know how that happened really. But do you think there's an overemphasis on protein? We know protein is important, but do you think that that's too overemphasized and carbs are too underemphasized?
Yeah, I think in this really strange roller coaster of diet that America's had over the years, we've gone from loving carbs to loving fats to loving carbs to then loving fats again. And then we're like, well, we don't know if we love carbs or fat, but let's for sure just love protein because we know that protein's tough to store as extra body fat because you have to convert it to carbohydrates and then you have to convert the carbohydrates to fat. So there's more steps required to turn that into body fat. And protein has a lot of health benefits to it. So and it's also the one macronutrient you can't really store in a reusable way in the same way as fat and carbohydrates. We can store carbs as glycogen. You've heard of carb loading. We all know you can store body fat, but storing protein is not the same way. So I can't remember the last time I met someone that was protein deficient. Most people are fiber deficient. You're supposed to have at least 30 grams a day, hopefully 40. I think the average American gets 11 grams of fiber per day. And that's very heavily tied into cutting carbs.
What are your favorite sources of fiber?
Two kinds of fiber, soluble and insoluble. Soluble is the kind that draws water into your stools and softens it. And insoluble creates the bulk of the stools. Water soluble, I actually love psyllium. And so I'm a Metamucil guy. There's something so delicious about that artificial orange flavor. I got to be honest, it reminds me of Tang. Remember when you were a kid, Tang?
Yeah.
Or Capri Sun?
Yeah.
There was those spaceship
I loved
flavors.
Capri Sun.
Oh, that little
You
packet.
freeze it in the summer and make a popsicle.
Oh, I've never done that.
Yeah, we would freeze. I think we would like no, we would freeze them and then we would cut the bottom off and then just squeeze it out of
That's
the pouch.
genius.
And it was, yeah, do it for your kids.
Oh, that's genius. So I love whole grains. Whole grains, anything that expands when you put them in water. Whole grains, seeds, fruit, great source of water-soluble fiber. And then bulking fiber, my vegetables, basically any green leafy vegetable or any color vegetable has some degree of bulking fiber. So those are probably my favorites.
You mentioned fruit. I feel like fruit has become something that people are a little bit unsure of, again, because fearing carbs, fearing sugar. Let's talk about the sugar conversation, fruit and otherwise. You talk about in the book how you have a sweet tooth. I've witnessed it firsthand. And I have to say, I was surprised as well, I think, when I first saw it, which was probably years ago when we were training and you were eating cookies when I'm working out, dying. And since I've been with you in various settings where you love a cookie and you talk about this. And I'm not the only one that was surprised.
It's my steam release. It's on a teapot. When that water boils, there's got to be a steam release on that pot that whistles. Because if it's sealed tight shut, it'll explode. And I feel like it's the same thing. As long as I know there's something that truly brings me such incredible joy throughout the day, I don't drink alcohol. I don't use anything that's really dangerous or bad. I don't smoke cigarettes. And what brings me joy is a pastry, a good pastry. And so I strength train and I do my steps and I sleep well and I have a really great balanced diet. And I like a chocolate chip cookie every day. And that's okay because it's still within my nutrient profile. I'm not overeating calories and I'm really happy and I look forward to it. If I take that away, and I've tried, then everything else collapses like a deck of cards. And I think when you try and create perfection in anything, real perfection, you often lose sight of the bigger picture, right? With anything. And with diet, having that, for me, it's my cookie. I always say to people, like, what's your cookie? For some people, it's a soda a day, right? Or
Yeah,
3 or
me
5
right
or
now.
whatever. Jess loves a really good French butter on toast, on a really great baguette.
God.
I mean, my
That's
wife,
also
she's
my
in the
favorite.
most incredible shape
Yeah.
ever. She has bread and butter every day. But everything else she eats is excellent and she exercises and she does everything right. And so her cookie is a little bread and butter. Whatever your cookie is, know what that is and earn it. So if you're doing everything else right, you can have your cookie and feel great about it.
What is your take on Diet Coke since we were talking about it before and since you mentioned soda?
There's a massive amount of research looking at diet sodas. All of them show weight loss associated with diet soda
Oh,
use. All of them.
fabulous.
Every single one of them, weight loss with diet soda use. When you hear people say, artificial sweeteners are bad, I stop them in their track because there's 8 or 9 different sweeteners. Which one are you talking about? They have nothing to do with one another. And so that's one thing. The other thing is they're called GRAS, generally regarded as safe. Any studies that you show with any sweeteners where they've shown any negative effects, it's in a lab rat for the most part. And the amount they're consuming, you and I would have to have like 500 sodas a day for many days to even come close to that it's not something we need to think about. And I think that's part of social media today. There's such clickbait that people want to see something that's like, oh, this will kill you and that's really bad. Well, read it. Take your time. Read through it.
Well, now they're calling Diet Coke fridge cigarettes.
Fridge cigarettes.
I'm like, okay, I'm gonna have my fridge cig now.
For me, it's Sprite Zero.
That's
Sprite
what
Zero,
you like?
7-Up. It's one of Diet 7-Up or Sprite Zero. Because there's no caffeine in it.
Mm-hmm.
And I can have it like if I want at dinner and I want to have something sweet and
Sprite.
delicious. It's so delicious. There's no calories. I'm not dying from that. And I think you and I talked about this a long time ago. For anyone out there freaking out about a food dye in a maraschino cherry or a color in a Fruit Loop or all of this minutia, yet, this person is 60 pounds overweight and doesn't exercise and they're focused on that random thing. It's a distraction. And if you take a look, okay, what are the leading causes of mortality and morbidity in the United States? And what are the lifestyle factors associated with each? The number one cause of death in the US by far is obesity, diabetes, heart disease, most cancers, et cetera, stroke. The second is smoking. And then third is, I believe it's accidents. Right? So drunk driving or workplace falling off a ladder or texting while you drive. And then I believe it's mental health and addiction. So if you're not obese, you don't smoke, you're not doing drugs, you're not texting while you're driving, there's 95% of every death. Focus on that. Are you nailing those things? And before we get distracted with the other stuff, I'm not saying they're not worthy, but they're so far down the line of things we should be worried about. And if you want to have a diet soda, big freaking deal, have a diet soda. Oh, and I should say for anyone listening, I am not here being paid by any beverage company, by any sweetener company at all whatsoever. I'm not.
Yeah, and I think anybody who's hyper fixating on those things, I understand you don't want to be like consuming, processed, hyper processed, artificial stuff all the time. But I think you need to really audit your life and look at these other areas. Like, are you dyeing your hair? Are you getting Botox? Do you have tattoos?
With the dyeing hair thing, am I eligible
there's
for
like
that?
These chemicals everywhere. Right. Like you can't, there's no such thing as perfection.
Right. And I think there's certain terms that we're scared from, which we shouldn't. The term artificial, the term chemical, GMO, we're confused by terms like organic and natural. We don't know what any of these things mean. Water is a chemical. Cocaine is natural. I'm serious. I mean, the lists you can go down, if you take organic milk and non-organic milk and you put them under a microscope, it's the identical same end product. When you say, I'm never going to have GMO, how about everything that you're eating is GMO? How many forms of apples do we know? There's Fuji, there's Red Delicious, there's Granny Smith. There used to be one kind of apple, it was called an apple. And through splicing one apple and putting on a tree with another, you've now genetically modified that apple and created a new species. So everyone needs to just chill out with their high horse. They got to just enjoy life, have some carbohydrates, have a piece of really good pizza. By the way, I have the best healthy pizza recipe.
No way.
The best healthy pizza recipe.
Is it on Instagram?
Yes, it's on my Instagram.
Okay.
Yes. And it's 6 minutes beginning to end.
No way.
Yes.
How do you make it?
I use a whole wheat lavash bread. I get it from Trader Joe's, but you can get a lavash bread anywhere. For anyone out there, it's like a paper thin, flat bread. I put tomato sauce on it, whatever one you want. I like Rouse, but a little bit. But before I do anything, I take that flat bread, a little bit of olive oil, and I put it in the oven for like 3 minutes to just crisp it up. Take it out, put on my tomato sauce, whatever vegetables you want. I'll use like fresh basil, I'll use thinly sliced tomato, roasted red peppers out of a jar. I love roasted red peppers. And I'll put in some really good roasted turkey. And on the top, I'll put some part skim shredded mozzarella. I'll put it back in for about 3 minutes. It's everything you love about pizzas. It's tangy, it's cheesy, it's crunchy. It's so good. You got to eat it quickly because when it cools down, it's not as good. But when it's hot, it's so good.